Hey, good evening. Welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, once again, another letter I get today from a subscriber who's been following us and is intending to move out here. So the same old questions, same old concerns, same old can it be done, can I do it? So I decided that I would make 3 videos on this subject because you couldn't say it all in one video anyway. So here's what I would call my ideal scene. All things equal, in a fair world, with the wind behind you and everything going perfectly, this is what I would do if I was doing it all over again. So, location. Now the thing is that in the Philippines, the kind of lifestyle that you can have in different places is so incredibly different that you really do need to know exactly the kind of life that is going to suit you. Now I say the kind of life that's going to suit you as opposed to saying the kind of life that you want. What's that famous prayer? Thank you, God, for not giving me the thing I want, instead giving me the things I need. So that's the approach that I'm taking on this now. What lifestyle would suit you? Now the thing is, if you're coming from the UK and you've lived in Brighton all your life and you're quite used to going out every other day and walking on the beach and you enjoy that, then you're looking at probably trying to have the same thing here and it will suit you. But if you're coming from Manchester like I did, or you've lived like my sister lived in a place in Rochdale, I believe it was Rochdale, and she lived in a place called Lanehead Village, and the back of her backyard, so to speak, was the moors, and there was a Roman road that went past the village, and just a different kind of lifestyle, rural. Her daughters found partners in farmers and became lovers of horses and stuff. You know, so things can be so different. Now, if you were coming from that, would you be looking at walking on a white beach every day? Well, you may think that that's what you want. In your dreamy, wouldn't that be great times, but you might be a redhead and with that kind of skin that gets burned after half an hour in the sun. So I think maybe you really need to look at what you would feel in your sensible moments would suit you. Now, there are 7,000 islands in the chain of the Philippines, and there are many expat sites that will tell you all kinds of stuff about this. And of course, you know, some of these guys live, the vloggers who are running some of these sites, they live what many people would think of as an absolutely idyllic kind of life. They usually have an extremely beautiful, sexy girlfriend who likes to wear skimpy bikinis, and who people, or men at least, love to see her in her skimpy bikinis. And so the man usually has a drone, and the drone flies high above and it shows his girlfriend in her skimpy bikinis floating beautifully on a blue lagoon next to a white beach. Okay, that's fine, but if you come from Lanehead Village in Rochdale, that's probably not actually going to suit you. So here's what I suggest, is that right now, while this pandemic is playing itself out, shall we say, you do what I've been doing, not that I'm any great example, but during the 9 months or so that this madness has been going on, we've completely remodeled our house, and now we're working on our guest house. So I put the time to good use. You could do that too, assuming of course you have a computer, which obviously you will, or a smartphone. I do everything. Look here. I mean, I'm on a camera right now, but I do everything on my part of the job with our channel on that phone. I don't even have a laptop, and I don't use the laptop that Beth works on. So, assuming that you can go online and do your research, do the research. Find out the kind of lives that some people are living. Now you've got to cut out some of the BS, okay? So, just like the guys who are going around living in 5-star resorts, and the money that they pay out, they get from their channel, if that's still possible right now. I'm not sure that it is, but that's their job, and they have a great life which suits them and which they've made pay. Okay, so that's their job, and what lucky people they are. But you may need to know the kind of life that you want to lead. Now, in my particular case, I didn't do this. I came out here, I went completely on intuition. I went to see my son who was in San Fernando, and I stayed with him for a while, and then I got a place of my own, and I bought a beat up Volkswagen, and I lived in the same street as the mechanic who was restoring it, and I used to go down there and I used to sit and have tea with him and his wife while he worked on my Volkswagen, and it was a good life. And then I don't know what it was, but I suddenly heard about Cebu, and the name, I don't know, something clicked with me, and I decided that I'd like to go to Cebu. And I spoke to one person, and that one person said, "Oh, Cebu, great place, and you can go and see so many different places from Cebu. There's all kinds of places you can go to by boat. It's just wonderful." I said, "I would love to live in Cebu." So came to Cebu on 5 days, and I met my partner. Now, that's another video, believe me. What I'm suggesting is that the ideal scene is you go on, you do your research, you make your mind up whether you're a mountain man or a beach man or a city man or a farm man. Make your mind up what it is that could keep you fulfilled. Talking fulfillment, quite different to any kind of feeling that I've ever had in my life before, but that I found here. But that's another video too. So, where are we? You've gone online, you've decided what kind of life you want to live, you've looked at the different islands, you've got some feedback. Mind out, watch out for the negativity that you see on some of the sites where people have gone on there, had some bad luck, made some wrong decisions, and suffered for them. Okay, so you get the horror stories. There are wonderful stories as well as horror stories, but as is the human condition, the negativity is what sticks in the throat, and that's what you remember. What's that saying? If you go to a company and they treat you badly, you will tell everybody. If you go to a company and they treat you well, you'll tell 3 or 4 people, "Hey, that was a good company." If they don't handle your problem and your complaint, you will tell everybody. You'll make a career of it until something else takes your attention. So, ignore the negativity and try to get the good stuff from them about what's good about that. And on some of these sites, you can actually put a question up. You can, and you could, I don't know, you could say, if you had a question about health, you could put that up. If you had a question about insurance, you can put that up. And I've seen that these questions are very, very well responded to. 30, 40 different comments, and a lot of good sense is given. A lot of good sense and good advice from people who know. So, keep in mind the different expat sites. If you're determined to have a great adventure, then you will, almost by definition, you must be willing to be an adventurer. Would it be an adventurer? Yes? So, you've made up your mind where you're going to live. That's where we are right now. Now, and not before, you go online and you start researching possible partners. And what's going to happen is that you'll notice for certain areas, women have a different look that is often quite special to that area. So whatever turns you on is the whole thing. Now, I'm going to step away from what's the saying? Recuse myself. The Americans always have a great description for something. So I'm going to take myself out of the argument as to whether you should go for a city girl or a country girl. If you're limited in finances, and you're probably much more limited than you think, even at 47 pesos to the dollar, you're going to have to conserve your money, and that's in the next video or two. So here we are. You can now go, and in the area that you have decided to live, you can find someone, probably have hundreds of responses to your ad. Now, let's take it that you have decided to live where I live, which is Talabong. Talabong is on the island of Bohol. The island of Bohol is just, I was going to say a stone's throw, let's say a very short ferry trip to Cebu. So that's why I ended up here. I met someone who was from Bohol. Now, by pure chance, I came, I met my partner, it all turned out perfectly, and now we live in Bohol, which actually, by coincidence, or whatever you would call it, sheer luck, or a blessing, or a miracle, I love where I live. I am where I want to be, doing what I want to do. And I share that with my partner, Beth. So, you've decided what lifestyle you want. You're really looking for someone, a partner, who enjoys the same kind of lifestyle. You know, I had this before in the UK. I was with somebody who just loved the nightlife. And guess what I used to do? I was a musician. That was my nightlife was my job. And 6-7 nights a week for sometimes 5 or 6 weeks in a row, I was out on the road working in a big band. Now, guess what I used to want to do once I had a night off? No, it wasn't go out and enjoy the nightlife. I'd already had 4 or 5 weeks of that. But my then partner wanted that, and it wasn't wrong for her to feel that way. But it didn't work for me. Obviously that relationship didn't last. So, you find someone who wants to share the kind of lifestyle that you are seeking and have made up your mind would be good for you. So, be aware that there may be some surprises. You may have made some very logical decisions. You may have said, no, I'm a city boy and I want to be in the city. I had that. All my life I had been a musician, a working musician. And actually I once said to a friend who had bought a couple of acres in the country out in, I think it was Iowa or Ohio, and I said, I don't know how can you be happy in the country? There's nothing there. And that here I am, and I live on a small farm out in the mountains of Burgos. Apart from the family homes that are immediately around us, we can't see another single house in what is evidently hundreds of square miles of mountains. So be aware that you might make quite a few changes in your attitude, so there's always miracles that are going to happen. So that would mean, where have we got you? We've got you here in the Philippines, in the island that you know that you're going to be happy with, and you've met the person that you feel you can spend your life with, and she lives in a place that you enjoy living in. That's the thing. So the other thing will be family. Now, the reason that I say find a place that you would love to live in, get there, work out whether you really do love to live there. And it's important because a happy wife in the Philippines is even more important than other places. And she will be happiest usually if she has close proximity to her family, because Filipinos are extremely family oriented, so you have to be aware of that. And there's something special about being part of an extended family in the Philippines. If, and it can be a big if, you can find a family that accepts you and that you can accept and be part of. Now, for me, it worked out perfectly. It doesn't always happen that way. I know someone in the area that did not have such good luck, and life has had its difficulties for him because of a family that didn't accept him, or that he didn't, that chemistry was not there. So you're not just marrying a woman, you're marrying a woman and her family, and that's especially so in the Philippines. So congratulations on your marriage and on finding a place where you're going to be happy to live and that suits your lifestyle, and we'll move on to the next video. Thanks for being with me on this one. Have a look at part 2, because then we're going to go, I made a few notes, we're going to go and we're going to look at the bank, pensions, how you get paid, what to do about your money, stuff like that. I'll be back. Bye for now.